Very good morning. Uh, Yesterday we were discussing about the methods of the questionnaire, that how questionnaires can be adopted, and what are the methods or the techniques through which we can pursue for the collections of the materials related with our uh, questionnaire method. So I am sharing with my mm, PPT so that it will be more easy to. So the main purpose of this questionnaire method is to know that what are the things which can be known through the method of our questions, and it is generally employed to obtain information that for what, how, and to whom the things are related with. So questions are being raised based upon the objectives of our research as well as whatever the research questions or research problems which have been taken in the objectives of our proposed research. So yesterday we had discussed that what are the how the questions can be framed. So we are discussing about that there are some covering letter also, the questionnaires, and what will be the length of the questions and how it can be handled also. And regarding the uh, matter of the questions, that how you have to fill up the instructions, how the questions can be framed so that sentiments and emotions of other persons cannot be hurt. So in that way, it can be developed, and what will be the order of the questions or the serial order of the questions, and if there are some clarifications related with the questions, it can be put under the heading notes, so it can be put here also. So the main purpose of the question or questionnaire method is that what people are related with the age, gender, status, and how people think about the beliefs, attitude, custom, traditions, religions. So how the society is living and how people are acting, what are the attitude and behavior of the persons. So the questionnaire method is adopted when the research is related with our sociological aspect or the anthropological aspect. It is generally based upon the our statistical data, and sometimes qualitative methods can be also used for analyzing the materials which are available based upon those materials also. And we can also know about the how the people are thinking about it, how the people are aware, familiar about the knowledge of the society or the nations or the whole, how community is surviving. So these can be also decided. So how this there are some features related with the questionnaire purpose. We can adopt it. So these are the measurement how the questions can be evaluated. Yesterday we are discussing that there are some of the features of the questionnaire method related with the validity, reliability, and practicability. So what is the validity? It is first of all, we can know that what is the validity. Validity means the extent to which a questionnaire measures the things we wish to measure it. So this is the validity through which we can adopt the questionnaire method, and we can scale or measure the things. It is constituted by the following three aspects we'll discuss in our next, that what are the content validity, what are the our and the questions criteria related. So we had discussed about the reliability, practicability, and this is the content validity we are discussing, that how there are related with the matter when we are discussing about the validity. So under the validity through which we can scale or measure the questionnaire. So here content validity is first of all, that what elements constitute adequate coverage. So it means that questions or items to be included or scaled in the questionnaire. So ideally for each question, how many panelists out of total have been indicated is to be essential. So there is a measurement formula also through which we can know about it. So this is the reliability forms. We are discussing that what is the reliability? It is ability of a measurement instrument to measure the same thing consistently each time it is used. So here validity presumes reliability. The opposite is not always true, however. So related with this, there are some forms of reliability, that is the precision. It signifies perfection in an instrument, that is the quality of the process. Second is the accuracy, which refers to how close an estimate is to the true value, quality of the result. And then stability, which means a consistent result obtained. Equivalence next, which concerns with the variations at a given point of time among observers. And then internal consistency deals with homogeneity among items using, say, a split half technique. So this is the our related with the our reliability form. And then this is the chart through which validity, that reliability high and low can be measured or scaled. So see, there are some of the black points which are centered in the nucleus point of the circle. So this is called high, and when it is called scattered, this is called as low. So this is the measurement of that how validity can be. So we are discussing about the content validity. Here, content validity, what elements constitute adequate coverage? That is items to be included and scaled in the questionnaire, say for evaluating customer satisfactions. So this is the our criteria. If you go through the CVR dot NE minus N by 2, then by N by 2. So this is the criteria. Here it is given that this question item, how many panelists out of the total have indicated it to be essential. NE is noted, and content validity ratio. So CVR is the content validity ratio is computed by. So here items with a high value of CVR, say 0.6, which is higher, should only be retained. So last we are discussing that the criterion reliability. So here the first is the content validity, second is the criterion related validity, and third is the constructive validity. So now we are discussing the second one, criterion related validity. So it is success of measures used for prediction or estimation is to be judged by the following four criteria. That is the relevance, freedom from bias, reliability, availability. So here relevance, when we are thinking to observe or to make questionnaires related with the a statement related with the bank branch, that of how many are the total deposits in a month or in a year, what are the transactions, or what are the incomes of the bank, how expenditure can be measured. So through this criteria, scaled validity can be number of accounts, how many are the number of accounts in a bank, say for market penetrations, how the market can be measured, that how the transactions of the money are coming to the bank and how through the bank it is going to be exported. So second is the freedom from bias. It is adjustment for conditions in evaluating, say, performance of a students and salespersons. Whenever we are thinking to make questions related with the that how many are the students who are getting first division or second division or third division, what is the scale of the result, and what is the performance of the salespersons, we can uh, think about it. So this is the our related with the. Then third is the reliability. It is stability and reproducible, like a bank branch deposit should be assessed on quarterly and not weekly basis. So this is the our through this we can know about that how stable and what are the reproductions in the bank related with the transactions and the incomes of the or deposits, how the deposits are coming. So in that way, we can evaluate quarterly or weekly basis also. Then availability, that information must be available for evaluation or it is to be purchased at a cost also. So here criteria is a standard related with our to test or test score is evaluated. So it is further factor our in following factors. So here there are criterion related validity. It is continuations of this. So this is the standard against which a test or test score is evaluated. So this is first is the concurrent validity. So it is an index of the degree to which a test score is related to some criterion measure obtained at the same time. So concurrent here it is in the sense that how well does a new test A compare with the established or standard test S. So next is the predictive validity. So here it is said that, for example, how well does a test A compare with the established fact or a standard test S. So this is the example which has been given. So here correlations between the independent and dependent variable is used to measure it. Second is the predictive validity. It is an index of the degree to which a test score predicts some criterion measure. So here use of pre-admission test score to predict the final examination score. So whenever there is a questionnaire related with the statement that how many final exam will be achieved at the time of the admissions, at the time of the pre-admission test, then through this predictive validity can be taken. So here validity coefficient and expectancy data help criterion related validity through statistical evidence. So here there are some of the statistical data through which we can gather our thing. So next is the construct validity. Construct is an informed scientific idea developed to explain or describe behavior. So, for example, it has been given anxiety, creativity, executive potential, intelligence, and trust could be expressed through some operational means like index. So, how many persons are in the distress in a society or in a family? How many persons who are executive potentials, and how many persons who are making productions in the sense of creativity, how many executives who are performing, how many intelligent persons are working like this. So this is the mm, example which can be taken. Then second is the convergent validity. How far results using new construct match with those of the standard of available ones. So this is that how the results using new construct match with those of the standard of the things. The next is the discriminative validity, that degree to which scores on a scale do not correlate with scores from scales designed to measure different constructs. So this is the our thing. Here it can be noted that the test of the alpha does not that a particular question is inadequate. So it may be due to some misunderstanding for the negative formulations of the sentence also. So here there are instrument validity which are given here. The type, content, criterion-based, concurrent, predictive, and constructive, which we have discussed that what is content validity, criterion-based validity, concurrent validity, predictive validity, and constructive validity. So how it can be through the chart or through the table, we can understand that through the content validity, what can be measured, degree to which items relate to the study aim. So here methods are judgmental. Judgmental means you have to give the any statement or any that is the outcome based upon some laws or the criteria. So this is the panel evaluations. There are some of the persons of the 7 persons or 5 persons which are making a evaluations of the thing. Then criteria-based validity is independent variables. These are through the methods of the correlations. Concurrent validity, it is independent and dependent variables. And it is also through the method of the correlations. Then predictive method, it is dependent variables measures after some time. And it is through the method of the correlations. Again, the next is the construct validity, that what accounts for variance is measure. So there are some of the methods through which construct validity can be measured. It is through the judgmental, correlations, convergent, discriminate technique, and factor analysis. So these are some of the things which are through the chart we can understand it. So here there are the questionnaire methods. How can we frame the questions? So whenever the questions which are framed for making any statement or any outcome, so there are some of the central research questions. So in the research proposal, whenever the anthropological or sociological aspects research is being done, there are some of the research problems also. And through the research problems, our objectives are framed also. So here there are some of the central questions which have been undertaken in the research problems. So the questions are here: question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, question 5. And then questionnaire, how the questionnaire can be develop all these research problems or research questions. That part 1, part 2, and part 3, there are 3 parts through which we can make the question. So part 1 is administrative informations. You have to give the data or write about the your institution or the university or any through for any company through which you are working. So you have to give the information that under which department of the university you are doing your research. Then you have to give your personal details that what about you, your educational qualifications, and what are your backgrounds, and why you are doing research on these topics. So you have to write down about the personal details. And in the third part of the questionnaire, there will be some questions also, like yes, no. The questions will be framed like this, only in one sentence that anyone can answer that whether it is yes or no. Through the skilled, you can say skilled answers. There are some answer, and there must be some answers which can be given within one or two sentences also. And sometimes multi choice A, B, C, D. There are some of the options which are given in some of the questions also, and there will be some questions which will be open-ended also. So this is the three part of the making the questionnaires. And after that, making the questions, how the analysis can be done. So we can see, first of all, we have to make a table, then simple cross and graph. So we have to make it through the, based upon the questions which have been given in the part third. So we have to make a tables also simple. There will be cross checking of the statements, then graphs also, and then regression, factor analysis, cluster analysis, conjoint, and multi-dimensional survey. So this is the questionnaire frame, how it can be developed or how it can be observed. So let us discuss one by one. If you see that how warm up and screening questions. There are some of the questions which can be very informative also, and they can give enthusiastic to the persons who are being asked. So there will be some broad awareness questions also, awareness related with the society, family, or any economy of the persons or political aspects also. And there will be more focused attitude and opinion based questions also. So there will be more focused questions. More focused questions means that persons can reply it in a very smooth manner, not in a very confused manner. So there will be questions like this, and the classifications of the items related with the questions can be framed also. And lastly, there is a open-ended questions, and these are the demographic questions also. So here, how the questions can be arranged. So this is the questions we can see that how the questions can be right. So we are discussing in the uh, previous also that there will be open in the beginning slides. We had seen that how the covering letter can be framed when the questions are being framed or prepared. Then it should be put in the covering letter. So this is formal letter introducing the researcher, topic, and a sponsor. We had just given that how there will be name of the sponsor for under which university or institution or you are working. So you have to give the details also, and ensuring that anonymity of the respondent would be maintained in all aspects. So this there will be no any embarrassing to the persons which who to whom the questions are being asked. So the questions lay out a neatly designed and well-spaced questionnaire introducing the respondent. Again, there will be length of the questions. A questionnaire must be a very compact question, not in a lengthy manner. So that could be filled in reasonably amount of time is expected. Even the lengthy questions will take a lengthy time also. So the questions must be very specific and pinpointed so that the answer can be given within a single moment of time or within 1 minute or 2 minutes. It should not be lengthy. Otherwise, the answers which are to be given by the persons they won't give, they do not have much time. And how it can be handled, the questions, that it can be that clear instructions you can give at the end of the questionnaire for returning the questionnaires are method also. Sometimes the letters are being sent through the post also, but returning the questions by the persons, it is sometimes taxing also. They do not want to spend money through the post, registered post or parcel post or whatever the thing. So it is desired by a person that a question which has been framed by a researcher, he must send the envelope and the postage also through which a person who has to answer the questions, he can answer the questions and he can send it without any taxing of money also. So this is the handling, that how the handling can be prepared like this. So how the questions can be arranged, we can see through the slide that go from the journal to particular, from easy to difficult. So there must not be difficult questions in the beginning. Difficult questions must be at the end of the questionnaire. So first of all, easy questions can be framed. Go from factual to abstract. There must be factual questions which can be asked beginning, and in the last you can ask some of the questions which are thoughtful or having the questions with the intellect and the reasoning and the logic also. So abstract questions can be asked at the end of the questionnaire. So start with closed format questions. Here, closed format questions means the questions must be specific, must be pinpointed also, and it can be given very easily, not in a very. So answer options may generally be mutually exclusive. So if the multi-choice based questions are being framed with A, B, C, then these questions must be mutually exclusive. So arrange questions in logically coherent groups with small transitions. If there are questions in a group, then group can be taken in a coherent manner and in a with reasoning and the logic manner also. So questions can be mixed with semantic differential scales to avoid the tendency to tick the same response for every question. Then length of the questionnaire depends on the scope of the study. So what is the research topic? It depends upon the length of the questions. Even the length of the questions can be undertaken based on the chapters of the research also, research thesis also. Suppose there are 6 chapters, so not all the questions related with the 6 chapters can be framed at a time. But chapter wise, suppose in the first chapters there are research questions, and based upon the research questions, you are framing the questions then this length of the questions depend on the scope of the study. That what is the scope of the study, anyone can do. So here, make sure to inform the respondent if it would take more than 50 to 20 minutes to fill in the questionnaire. So a researcher must have in the mind also that if you are asking so many questions, and questions are the lengthy, and the answers will be also lengthy, then the respondent won't answer with. So the questions can be framed that anyone who has a spare time of 15 to 20 minutes for the questionnaire, he can sit down and he can fill up the questionnaires. So in that manner, the questions can be framed like this. Again, the questions guidelines, there are some of the guidelines which can be taken, that how the questions can be framed. So here use short and simple sentences, and the sentences will be in a very simple language, not with a very good English or a Hindi or Nepali language. If there are some difficult words in the sentence, then it will be very understandable to the respondent also. So the questions will be framed in a very lucid and a simple manner, and very in a very short sentences, not in a big sentences. So one question for one aspect only. If in there are some of the research questions related with one chapter, so one question can be asked related with one aspect of the research problem. Word should reflect the precise experience, e.g., for satisfaction, consider fair or appropriate or suitable. So here sometimes the questions are framed, and the questions must be for the satisfaction, which may be fair, appropriate, or the suitable. So here, in the when you are framing the questions, do not put anywhere, do not option. So you do not ask any person that you do not know the answer of these questions. So when you are giving the multi-choice based questions, then in the multi-choice questions, you do not put that do not know. It is better to avoid do not know, but there will be four choice-based questions under which he can know about the thing, only for the factual questions, not for attitude questions. Whenever the questions are being framed with the attitude as well as behavior, then do not know it can be done. But when the questions are being framed on the facts, then there is no possibility of do not know. It will be either yes or no, or fair or not fair, or it is appropriate or not appropriate, suitable, not suitable. So like that, use words from shared vocabulary. So sometimes in the community, there are some of the shared words also which are more popular. So in that way, the words can be used here. And some of the technical terms related with the anthropological or sociological aspects, if the terms are being used in your questions, then it must be clear in the notes also. Some of the technical terms can be defined at the end of the questions so that anyone can understand the technical terms and some of the terms which are not common. So include pictures for clarification. Some of the things which are not clear, then you can give the pictures or diagrams or any images through which you can give our things. So this is the our related with our question guidelines. There are other forms also. So be unambiguous. Here, ambiguous means there must be interpretations of any term or anything in only in one manner, not in two manner. So here the questions can be unambiguous. There must not be two interpretations of anything or two answers of anything. So the questions who are being answered by the persons, they must be knowing the subject matter. If a person who is not aware of the culture, custom, traditions of anything, the questions cannot be given to those persons also. Otherwise, they will be not able to answer. So to whom you are addressing the questions, you must be aware that what is the background of those respondents, how the questions, whether the questions which are being framed, it can be answered by those persons also. Suppose a person who has the philosophical background, he cannot answer the questions which are based upon the custom, traditions, and beliefs also. So the persons who are having the background of sociological or anthropological, to those who are having the background of the custom, traditions, beliefs of the society, those who are anthropologists, those who are psychologists. So questions can be given to those persons related with those questions of the your research problem. Plan, filter, and contingent questions. When the questions are made, then you can shortlist some of the questions also. And the questions which are relevant to your research topic. So when you are framing the questions, after that you can evaluate all those questions, that how much these questions are relevant to your topic also. So these can be here plan filter means you can short list your questions also. Use clear skills. There must be measurement which are clear or specific. Package the questions for each of the respondents. The persons who are going to answer the questions, you can make very not in a lengthy manner, but very smooth manners, those who can be answered by the respondents. It is also said that the some loaded questions. The loaded questions means the questions cannot be answered without having own study. So the questions are here very heavy, then it cannot be answered by person. So those questions which are tricky or which are more difficult, it can be avoided. Question should have a purpose. So here purpose means the purpose what you have already designed for your research topic. So the research problems which are based upon the questions. So here the questions which have been framed, whether they are related with your research topic or research problems or not. So here there must be, you can say, purpose of that also. Again, there is a option list must be exhaustive and mutually exclusive. So whenever you are giving the options A, B, C, D as a multi-choice based questions, there if there are four, it is good. Otherwise, if you are giving only one or two, that cannot be hit to the mind of the respondent also. So exhaustive, if you are having five, six, it is better. Otherwise, at least four options to be given, and it can be mutually exclusive. The questions which have been framed, the alternatives can be given. Suppose if the respondent is not able to answer these questions, then alternatively he can answer another questions also. So in that way, the uh, researcher who is providing the questions, he can give the alternative questions also. Then do not take emotional stand on questions. Sometimes the questions are hurting to the respondent also. So the questions which are more sensitive, which are hurting the sentiments and emotions of the person, these questions cannot be framed. So a researcher must avoid the questions which can create some hurt to the sentiments and emotions of the persons. So in that way, it can be avoided also. Then do not put false premise into the questions. So whenever you are giving the false statement, then it is very difficult. So don't put any false options into the questions. So allow a space for comments, maybe through one or two open-ended questions. So there must be a space for the respondent who can comment through one, two open-ended questions also. So comments or suggestions, you can also ask some suggestions to the persons to whom you are asking. So there must be some scope of the or a space for the respondent also. They can write down of the things. There is a general tendency that people do not give suggestions whenever any persons ask or the comments. But there are few persons who are really helpful in commenting or giving the suggestions. Then it can be helpful to the researcher that how it can be obtained. So here there are some of the things which are related in question construction styles, how the questions can be framed. And there are some of the styles of framing the questions. So the questions must have clarity. Here clarity means the choices which have been given in the questions, they must be unambiguous. Ambiguous means that the interpretations must be given in one. There will be only one interpretations, not two or three. So here is for frequency, ask as once a week or a month instead of open rarely. So some there are options that often or rarely, but it should not be given. So the questions can be given or based upon the analysis of a week or a month. Then leading type questions, that answer choice could not be forced or amplified. So here the answer multi-choice based questions should not be forced or implied. It should have equal chance that the choice if you are forcing to the respondent or those persons who are asked questions, then it will be creating problem to the others also. So there will be equal selection chance also. The next is the phrasing, the selection of the words which you are framing. It must be used very carefully. Otherwise, if the words are hurting to the sentiments or the emotions of persons, then the respondent will not answer any questions. So here avoid connotations and use the word carefully is a childlike or childish. This type of word cannot be used by a researcher. So if you are giving options like that, childish act or childlike act is or foolish act or foolish behavior, then this will create some of the problems to the emotions of the respondent also. Then embarrassing type. The questions must be framed or constructed which can embarrass to the our respondent. So avoid uncomfortable personal questions unless it is absolutely essential. So if you are asking to any persons related with his own personal life or the family affairs, then it will be embarrassing to the family head also. So the personal questions cannot be asked until unless even there are some of the questions which are the socially marginalized persons in the society. Here marginalized means those who have been not given equal status in the society. Like suppose there are in Nepal also, in Sri Lanka also, in Myanmar also, there are some of the monks or the nuns who have not got equal status to the monks and the nuns. Like Seal Mata in Sri Lanka, in Nepal also, there are some of the nuns who have not got the status. So the questions, if you are going to ask the personal questions to those affected persons, those who have not been given the equal status, even the family members, any persons who is widowed or they have been separated from the household life, wife, husbands, they have been separated. The personal questions, if you are asking related with the personal affairs, then it will be embarrassing questions also. So there are some of the personal questions which cannot be until unless if you are mainly devoted for the research or to the topic related with that. So you have to study the socially marginalized persons of the society of any aspect of that, then you can ask. Otherwise, it will be embarrassing questions also. Then questions cannot be framed which are double negatives. So here, double negative type questions like, do not you think the LIC should have withdrawn that policy? So you do not put questions to the respondent in a very embarrassing persons. So you are asking the questions, but you are framing the questions to the respondent also that do not you think the LIC of Nepal or LIC of Life Insurance Corporation of India should not have drawn that policy. So these type of questions can be avoided. And then hypothetical questions that avoid if you were a president or if you are being made a prime minister of a country, or if you are made a chief minister of a state, then what will be your attitude or behavior or the actions? So this type of questions cannot be framed like this. If you are asking these questions, then ego boosting. Check the tendency by the respondent to answer in a way they feel better. If you know the respondent very well, what are the attitude and behavior, sentiments and emotions that person has or have, then you can frame the questions in that manner also. So in that way, his ego can be also boosted also. And to whom you are asking the questions, that answers can be given by the respondent also. So this is the our WH request word. This that whenever there are questions which are we have discussed like this, that when questions are being framed, the questions are when means the time. What was the time in Pali text or Sanskrit Buddhist text? We also find that ekam samayam bhagava savathyam viharati jet vane anath pindakasa rame. So here, when an incident or event has taken place, there is a time, the chronological way. So the questions like be when, the time, and where, when the teachings of the Buddha were spoken. So what was the location or the place where that sutta was preached by the Blessed One? So like this, the location, the questions can be framed that where the sutta was preached by the Blessed One. And then logic and reasoning. There are two things. Here, Buddha also says that do not accept the things, whatever it comes to you. You must investigate it, that whether this thing is available in Sutta, Vinaya, or Abhidhamma. If it is available, then you can accept it. And everything is based upon the reasoning and the logic also. In that way, Acharya Nagarjun or Acharya Asanga, they have developed their reasoning. And in their text, we are having like Yukti Sastikarika or Madhyamaka Avatar or other texts like Dinnag or Dhammakirti, which who compose the text based upon the reasoning and the logic. So here, that whatever the questions are being framed, they must have some logic and the reasoning, because you are going to investigate the questions based upon. So questions framing must be related with the reasoning and the logic also. Then whose, whom. There are three things real to a person's like informations about a person or the several people. When you are doing research on the disciples or Agra Sravak, or who were more close disciples of the Buddha or other aspects also. So related with the Blessed One or the disciples or the persons who took participated in the first Buddhist council, second Buddhist council, or third Buddhist council. So how the information you can gather about the Mahendra and Sagmitra, those who were responsible for disseminating the teachings of the Buddha in Sri Lanka or in other at the time of King Asoka, how the teachings of the Buddha were disseminated in all parts of our globe. So this is the when any research questions are being framed, the informations related with the persons or the many persons can be framed. So here, which is the preference? You have to make a preference that what you are going to think, and then what the questions must be subjective and the objective evaluation, and it is based upon the qualitative method, that is the based upon the literature. So questions must be framed based upon the subjective and objective evaluations. And then lastly, how. This is the how to measure a procedure, relationship, opinion, quantity, extremity, or intensity. When a researcher is devoted to make a research to measure that what was the procedure which was adopted at the time of the first Buddhist council or the second Buddhist council or third Buddhist council, how the teachings of the Buddha were rehearsed, what was the method of evaluating all those teachings of the Buddha, or how these in the Sangiti Sutta or in Mahaparinibbana Sutta, Buddha has given instructions for getting a state of eternal bliss, and how there is a relationship between the cause, nature, and the environment through the cause and conditions. So wherever the questions are being related with the method or the procedure or the technique or the relationship between the nature, environment, and the man, and opinion, the factual, and then quantity based questions which are being asked, then extremity or intensity. So these are some of the uh, words which can be used in framing the questions. When you are framing the questions, then it should be when the teachings of the Buddha were preached at Sravasti, how many suttas were preached at the Sravasti, where we are asking. So like that, you can frame the questions also. So this is the survey items. So let us finish here from in the next class, we will discuss about it. So till here, we have discussed that how the questions can be framed, what are the things which can be taken care of framing the questions, and how it can be done. So if you have any questions, still one class can be taken for understanding our this questionnaire method. So we'll discuss in again in the further class also. So if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we can meet in the next week if you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes,
Yes.
we have discussed about the closed format questionnaire and open format questionnaire, like that. Could you define more about the closed format questionnaire? Is that an objective question, or what is it?
Objective question means you have to give the options A, B, C, D. If you have four options, then you can give to the respondent. They, based upon those four options, he can answer yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. Otherwise, sometimes if two things are available to the respondent, he can give like this.
The closed format questions, what kind of questions like that?
Closed format questions, that here that format of the questions can be given in the closed envelope here, not in the closed format questions. So here open that the questions which are open, and closed format, you are asking that how the closed format question, there is no closed with that questionnaire can be put in a closed envelope. So open letter, we have discussed that what will be the content of the questionnaire, and then how when the questionnaires are prepared, then how it can be put into the envelope also.
Put in the envelope. I don't understand the envelope. Put in the envelope. It means we
Now, if
send
you are
we send to the respondent in the envelope?
Yes. If you suppose a person who is not in Nepal, he is
Yes.
outside or
Yes.
in other parts of the city.
Mhm.
So how can you send the questions? In that way, I had sent you that if you bring they frame the questions,
Yeah.
then you have to close it and put into the envelope, and then you can send it to the respondent by the post also. And even it is desired or it is supposed that a person who is asking the questions, he can also give another envelope inside the envelope also with the stamp also, so that a respondent cannot give another taxing with the money also. So
Yeah.
if he replies, he can put another in the another envelope and he can send it through the post also. So
Yeah.
if you are not sending an envelope to the persons, he will that why I am going to spend 50 rupees or 100 rupees. I am not bothered for that. But a person who is sending the envelope with the stamp, then the respondent will be inclined to answer those questions and he will send the questions in the envelope also. Any more questions you have? Or another one, anyone? हाँ हरि बोल काफले जी.
Unmute your mic, please.
Sorry, I have one question. I think there are some practices in the survey having immediate access to valuable data that can be achieved from the online survey, and this may help in the evaluation of the data and also help the researchers. I mean, is it relevant for our PhD level or?
Yes. We'll discuss in the next class also that how the informations can be gathered or the questions can be gathered through the internet or through the our email also. And there are so many informations. The questions are being asked through online format also, and a researcher must verify it through the available literatures also. Those which are available through online questions, they must be verified before putting it into the thesis also. Because some of the informations which are available on the Google or through online question format, they are not reliable sometimes. So they must be verified through available literature that whether they are correct or not. If after the investigations, if they are found the correct, then you can put into the chapters of your thesis also. So this is advisable to a researcher. So we'll discuss about it also, that how through the internet or through the Google or there are so many websites which are having
Like
the open
monk,
questions.
yeah,
Open
monkey
questions.
survey. Mm,
Yes.
mm.
But if you are getting the informations, it must be verified through our available literature in Pali text or in Sanskrit Buddhist text or in other literatures also, Tibetan or Chinese, then it can be put. A researcher must find all these things in the literature also. So we'll discuss about it also in the next class. No problem.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Take care. So I am sorry that I could not be able to take class yesterday due to some internet problem in my department there. So it is better to take class from my residence also. So, okay, see you again tomorrow. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Take care.